Okay, so this is a project work that we want to do, and it's basically an assessment test. So after learning data analysis with Excel or learning Excel, we want to go through these assessment tests to kind of practically see if we can recall all that we've learned. Right, so this table contains a list of all the assessments that we will go through. So the first question is merge and center the title personal expenses. So on the left side of the table is a personal expenses record that we want to work with. So the first question is asking us to merge and center the title personal record. So this is the title personal budget or personal expenses. Let me change it to expenses. Okay, right. So to merge and center this title, all that you need to do is select up to the cell J2 and click on this tool, merge and center. Then right, it will just merge and center the personal expenses title for you. Right, the second question is extend columns to fit the text. So you can see that some of the columns are hidden. This has total expenses, but some of the text in the columns are hidden. Here too you can see that there is a hidden text here as well, then here as well. So to do that, there are several ways that you can do it, but one method is you just come to the border in between cell B and cell C. That is where you want to expand or you want to make this text fill the columns. Then you just double click on it. You see that it will expand the cell for you. So wherever that you want the text to fill up, you can just double click in between the borders. Right, here too we need to expand it. We are good to go. Okay, so now you can see that all the text are revealed. Right, the next question is change the font size of the heading to 14. So you select the heading again, then you come to font size. So under home tab you see font size, you drop down and choose 14 and you are done. The fourth question or test is bolding all headings and center them. So we will select all up to this point, we bolden them, then we choose center alignment to center all the headings. Right, then the next assessment is fill font background to blue and change font color to white. Right, so we will keep it selected and come to the fill tool. You drop down and choose blue. Let me choose this blue. Right, then you change, you click on the font color tool and you change it to white. Voila, you are done. Okay, the sixth question says you should format the data as currency. So since these are expenses in monetary values, we want to change all of them to currency. So you select up to this point, then you come to this place, you drop down and choose currency. This is one method, or you can just click on this currency tool, it will format it to currency. Okay, question 7 says change text alignment of data to right align. Okay, so we can select all these and choose right alignment, but because it's formatted as currency, it's not applying. Okay, so let me, but we can do it. This is already left aligned. Okay, no, sorry, I made a mistake. Let me select all again and choose right align. This is right align. Okay, so you see that it moved to the right a bit. Okay, so we are done with question 7. Then question 8 says freeze the pin below the headings. You see that when you scroll, we are not okay, let's use the table for example. You see that when you scroll, the titles scroll along, but question 8 is saying that we should create a freeze pin. So to do that, I'll use this table as an example, and you can only have the effect of the scroll when your records are plenty, but since we don't have enough records here, that's why it's not reflecting. So let me use the table. I'll just select below the titles, then come to view. Okay, so at view you come to freeze pin, you click on it and you choose freeze pin. So when you choose freeze pin, when you scroll, the title will still be static with only the data below the title scrolling. Right. Okay, so to implement that in our work, you can just select below the titles, then click on freeze and select freeze pin. So by this, you see that our title is scrolling, is static, and the data is scrolling without the title. Okay, right. So question 9 says calculate the total expenses of expenses by month using formula. So this is our total expenses per month, and it's telling us to calculate it. Right. So using a formula, so we will just use the sum function or the sum formula. So you type equal to sum into brackets, then you select your range. This is the range, then you press enter. So you see that it will sum all the values for you. When you are done calculating for January, you can just click on the sum, the amount here, bring the cursor below here and drag across. You see that it will sum for all the other months. Okay, so question 9 says calculate total expenses using formula. So this is the total expenses. So we can implement similar method that we use for the total expenses by month. So you just type equal to sum into brackets, you select the range, you press enter, then you see that it will calculate for you. So you just drag down to apply to the rest of the records. All right, then the 11th question says total average expenses. So to calculate for the total average expenses using formula, you can just type equal to average into brackets, then you select from January to June, you close your brackets, you press enter. So this is the average expenditure for food between January to June. You can just scroll down to get the average spending. Right, C9 through to H9. All right, so question 11 is also done. Now question 12 says we should calculate total expenses for the first quarter. So the first quarter is from January to March. So to do that, you just type equal to sum into brackets, then you select the records from January, that is C5 to E9. Voila, you are good to go. Right, then let's calculate for the sum of the total, the sum total for the second quarter. So equal to sum into brackets, you select from April F5 to H10, enter, you are done. Right, let me just bold in this a bit so that it will be different from the rest of the records. Okay, now the 14th question says change any hidden column with pound symbols. If you can remember, we used to have this, yeah. So when you have this symbols, it means the cell is less than, or the width of the cell is smaller than the value there. So to do that, you can use the double click method at the edge to do that. Right. Question 15, create borders around the table. So question 15 says we should create borders around the table. So you select from this point up to this point, then let me select up to the total expenses. Then you come to home, then in your font tools you drop down and select borders. So you see that a border will be created around your table nicely. Let me drag this up to this point to also get the average. Let me drag this here to get the total average expenditure. Right. The next question is create a column chart for the first quarter. So this question is telling us to create a visualization for the second quarter. So you select up to, for the first quarter. So you select up to March. Right, the first quarter. So you select up to end of March. Then you come to insert, then you can click on, depending on the Excel or the Microsoft Office application version that you are using, you can have recommended charts, or you can choose from any of these. So we will take the recommended charts. You use a simple bar chart or clustered column chart for it. So just select this and it will draw a nice chart for you. You can give the chart a title, and the title is what? Chart for first quarter expenses. All right. Then the next question is rename sheet 1 as personal expenses. So you come to sheet 1, you right click on it. This is sheet 1, you right click on it, then click on rename personal expenses. Right. Then the next question is change the page orientation to landscape. So to do that, you come to page layout, then you just choose orientation and click on landscape. Right, so now our records has been changed to landscape, and you see these lines. When you try to print, our records will move out of this dash line. So let me just delete here. Let me remove the empty cell here so that at least we can close in when we want to print. Okay, then the next question is set print area around the expenses table. So we can select around our work up to this point, or up to wherever that we want to be involved in the printing. Then you go to page layout again, you choose print area, then set print area. So now when I go to file and print, this is what I'll get. Wow, because of the dashed lines, that's why we have a second print area. So let me try and correct that. And to do that, we need to reduce, let me try and get rid of some of the, okay, in April we can close, right, in March too. Okay, now the dashed lines has disappeared. Let me open this a bit. Okay, so let's go to print view once again. Okay, so now we have a one page print. So when we print, we get one page print, right? Then the last question is save as personal expenses. So you come to file, save as, you browse for a location, then you just save as what? Personal project. Save. We are good to go. Alright, so this brings us to the end of this practice or practical test. Have a nice day.